Excited to talk to you more about real estate today. I'm Jody Bell. I'm a licensed real estate agent in California. I was also licensed in New Hampshire and Maine in the past. Today I want to continue my conversation about contingencies. So yesterday we spoke about the three basic contingencies. Those are loan, appraisal, and inspections. Today I want to move on to some more complicated contingencies, but still used very frequently, and those would be for the buyer to sell their home and for the seller to find a replacement home. Now, just a reminder, contingencies mean that there's something upon which this deal is dependent on. It's contingent on me getting a loan. It's contingent now on me selling my house first. Otherwise, I cannot buy this house. Now, as I mentioned, those first three contingencies, they're very common. When we refer in the business to a contingent deal, usually we're referring to ones with a seller contingency to find a replacement property or a buyer contingency to sell the home that they have now. The other three we kind of just assume. Basically, most deals are going to be having those three contingencies, but it's a little special, it's a little complicated if we have a buyer contingency or a seller contingency, so we refer to that as a contingent deal. Now, why would we need a contingency? So when I moved from New Hampshire to California, I had to sell the house I had before I could afford to buy the house here. So my purchase here had to be contingent on my sale back in New Hampshire. And the same thing for sellers. They don't want to have nowhere to go, so they may make their sale contingent on them finding a replacement home. Now for sellers, we're typically going to encourage them, if they can live with mom and dad, if they can stay with their sister, if it's possible for them to sell their home and not make it contingent on them finding a replacement home, we're going to encourage that because it's going to make the deal more simple. And for buyers, a lot of times there's no option. We have to sell the first home, so we need to do that. Now, how do we do that in a real estate transaction? We need to write it up. We need to use the proper forms because otherwise we're not protected. A contingency protects the buyer or the seller. So we're letting the other party know, hey, by the way, I cannot do this deal if I don't get my loan. I cannot do this deal if I don't sell my house. So we're putting it into writing and we're protecting everybody. We're giving the party that needs it a way out. I couldn't sell my house, so sorry, I'm not buying your house. I couldn't get my loan, so sorry, I'm not buying your house. That's how we protect it. Otherwise, if we just had a straight out contract that didn't have any contingencies, then you're saying, I promise I am buying your house no matter what, and I will put up with the legal ramifications if I don't. So when we write up these contingencies, there's a protection. It does make it more complicated, but that's what we often need in a deal. So that's contingencies. It's important for buyers and sellers to understand those contingencies, and it's also important for new real estate agents to understand what it means for their buyer or seller to have a contingency and what it means for the other party to have a contingency so that they can protect the party that they're working for to understand exactly what's going on in this contract, because we are legally obligated to whatever we sign on that piece of paper. Okay, that's it. That's your happy explanation for contingencies, and we'll talk more about real estate tomorrow.